Hello and welcome to the show. I'm Jacquelene. You're on A1R Psychic Radio and Moonstruck TV. What a fun time it is. Well, that could be open to conjecture, but the Mercury retrograde in Gemini, and of course I'm a Gemini, so hi, solar eclipse time. I got a bit close to the sun and I burnt my hand. Bit of Icarus there. Anyway, so it's a Mercury retrograde in Gemini for all your Geminis and Sagittarians out there. It's definitely been a time of big change, and for everyone else as well. And of course, domestic travel relates to Gemini, and international travel relates to Sagittarius. Neighbours also relate to Gemini, and also children, and a whole heap of other things. I mean, we are the child of the zodiac. Essentially, is Gemini. Kind of like we're mercurial, which means we sort of go in and out of conversations and that sort of thing. But so the Mercury retrograde in Gemini with a solar eclipse in Gemini that went over America yesterday, that's been kind of huge. So we sort of saw the outage of the internet, and I saw an Australian person going, "Don't blame Mercury retrograde for things that happen. It doesn't affect you at all." And I'm like, okay, tell that to the internet, honey. Good on you, because if you're like heavily, if you've got a lot of Mercury in your chart, or a very strong Mercury in your chart, or like me, and you have Mercury retrograde in your chart, I don't believe that's going to affect you. But the thing is not to blame it on the moon or any other planet or Mercury for that matter. It's about using this energy constructively. So what's constructive to do during a Mercury retrograde and a Gemini solar eclipse in Gemini? Like a Gemini solar eclipse, Mercury retrograde in Gemini. See, look at me running my words. Probably really focus on the here and now. Focus on your physical body. Geminis have this wonderful situation of being able to go up into our heads a lot. I mean, we're fantastic at just like this. You sort of wonder how many people you're talking to at once, really, with the Gemini, because we'll bring up stuff that happened 6 months ago whilst dealing with what you're talking about now and thinking about doing in 6 weeks' time. And we'll also multitask, sometimes way too much, and sometimes you overthink stuff. It's just it's a thing that happens. Also, you probably want to, unless you're a media company, you probably want to have, like, I don't know, maybe 3 parts Gemini to 100 other employees. I'm not joking, really, but I'm not really. But because generally we get stuff done super quick. So if you're looking for an employee that's going to do a lot for you, welcome to the land of Gemini. But if you get bored, Loki and, those Thor movies, well, that's where we go. So just be conscious of how do you use the energy. It's not blaming the moon or Mercury or anything else like that. It's like, how do you stay present? How do you use this energy? So Mercury is about communication. So are you being clear in your communication? Are other people being clear with you? And if they're not being clear with you, do you want to take it so personally? Maybe not the best time to be doing that. Maybe instead have a little patience, be clear in what you're trying to get across. If they're not being clear, maybe, or it seems really offensive what they've written to you, breathe, step back. Okay, I see what they're really saying. So it might take a couple of days to get to that level of clarity. It's not a problem if it does. By the way, as soon as we're talking about all things Gemini and communication, yay for me. Thank you, guys. This is from A1R Psychic Radio and Moonstruck TV, and it's Quality Partners. Quality Radio Partners. And it's basically a certified master radio host, which I'm rather excited about. That's sort of representing, there's 3 certificate levels with this media group that I'm broadcasting you through. And there's a 1 year, there's a 5-year master, and there's a 10-year doctorate. And I've actually been on radio. I started out on FM radio back in 1997 with a good friend of mine who invited me on the show, and I was terrified of doing radio or anything media. It took me 2 weeks to agree to it. And let's just say that it was a very interesting bodily reaction to that. And but within 30 seconds of going on air and starting to talk about, doing this reading for this friend, he actually said to me, "I'm going to have to stop you right there." And I thought, oh, my God, I've done it wrong. Ah! And he said, because everyone's going to know way too much about me. And I went, oh, yes. And I just flew through the rest of the show. But I ever after that had awful stage fright, disgusting stage fright. At the end of doing something on stage or on radio or on TV, it's all like, yeah, and feeling good, or feeling the love, as it were. Usually I start, if I'm doing a presentation to an audience, it's like, I'll actually come out and say, I just have a terrible stage fright. Do you think they'll notice, like, if I go running out of here? Do you think it'll be okay? And people usually laugh, which then I just relax because they think that was a joke, and it really wasn't. I am thinking of running out of there, but I persist. So I've been doing it since 1997, but on this channel, it's been actually since 2014, and we're in 2021 now. So I'm just going to see if I can hang out to the 10-year period and get that doctorate, because it'd be good to be able to be called Dr. Jacquelene. My aunt wanted me to be a reverend, but I'm very irreverent, so I didn't think that would work. But yeah, Mercury retrograde, and talking about all things Mercury and communications, just think about what you're saying at the moment. And a big thank you also to A1R and Moonstruck TV and Quality Radio Partners for supporting me over this last 5 years. I mean, that's been huge. I've gone through some amazing stuff in my life, and somehow they're still putting up with me. I mean, you've got to give them kudos for that right there. And thank you also to the audience. You guys are wonderful. I get a lot of love in messages and stuff like that. And if you're wanting to reach out to me on Facebook, it's Jacquelene Close-More Live. Just type that in, you'll find me somewhere there. But yeah, so things to do when you're looking at planets, and back to that subject, really look at, how can I use this energy constructively? Okay, well, if it's a full moon and we know that emergency departments fill up during full moon, so that the police get a lot more stuff going on full moons. The moon it relates to water, controls a tide. And if we think of the fact that we're 80% water, 70, 80% water as human beings, that can affect you. Is it to blame? No, you're still responsible for that stuff. So maybe don't drive 30 centimeters away from the car in front of you. Maybe just back it off a bit, particularly during a full moon, particularly during a lunar eclipse. I mean, that stuff could go down real quick, so don't sort of go, oh, it's the planet's fault. I mean, sometimes I joke and say, do you think I can hit the snooze button until Mercury retrograde's over? It's sort of a running joke with my friends and I who are into astrology. We just have a joke about it. We stay very much awake, except for when we're just asleep, literally, to operate. But, have a think about, how you can use this energy. So if it's a full moon, how can you address your emotions? Is there some creative work you can do? Is there, some introspection? And during the solar eclipse, particularly, and this one, look at your relationship with yourself. Look at your relationship with those around you, and try not to blow up so much. Take the time out, have a breather, do things physical, like being in the body, and be kind to yourself. Some people can make some really catastrophic, huge decisions during solar eclipses and then go, oh, no. Or they can make really brilliant decisions. It's often said that stars, as in famous people, are born and die on eclipses, or, around them, very close around them. And of course, we've just had the birth of Lilibet. Meghan and Harry have had their baby. They'll be a baby girl. So you sort of look at it as that way, like, people quite often, who, are going to be quite famous or well-known, or come from a well-known background, can be that. Sometimes they start off in very poor surroundings. You can find people that are going to really go somewhere, often born around that timing too. So there's some things to think about. Keep it real when it comes to your spirituality and practicality, and with astrology as well. It's like, how can I use this? Not, oh, it's controlling me. Yeah, it's just a blueprint. It's a plan from which you can extend and renovate. So wishing you the best. I'm going to be back next week, plugging on in here. And lots of love to you all. There's going to be a lot more shows here on A1R Psychic Radio and Moonstruck TV for the rest of this morning, afternoon and evening. I'll catch you next week. Anyway, bye. Stay safe.